Within the next 24 hours, the most stable trade relationship on Earth could dissolve, triggering a $2.4 trillion economic heart attack. A 100% tariff on Canadian imports isn't just a political threat, it's a direct tax on every American light switch and gas pump. We are witnessing the sudden collapse of the North American supply chain, and your personal cost of living is the first casualty. For decades, the US and Canada operated as a single industrial engine, but that engine just hit a brick wall of protectionism. This isn't just about lumber or maple syrup. Canada is the largest foreign supplier of energy to the United States. If these tariffs take hold, experts predict gas prices could surge by 40% overnight as Canadian crude becomes prohibitively expensive. Your electricity bill is next, as Northeast and Midwest grids rely heavily on Canadian hydroelectric power to keep the lights on. The automotive sector is facing a total parts blackout because components cross the border up to 7 times during assembly. This creates a massive inflationary shockwave that the Federal Reserve cannot control with simple interest rate hikes. While the US looks inward, Canada is being forced to look elsewhere, fundamentally shifting the global balance of power. The special relationship is being replaced by strategic desperation, pushing Ottawa toward the very rivals Washington fears most. We are seeing the death of the USMCA, a trade deal that took years to negotiate, dismantled in a single afternoon. Market volatility is already spiking as investors realize that just-in-time manufacturing is physically impossible under 100% tariffs. Empty shelves aren't a conspiracy theory anymore. They're a mathematical certainty when 20% of your food imports are taxed. But the true danger isn't just the price of bread, it's the geopolitical vacuum being created right on the US border. The math is brutal. 60% of US crude oil imports come from Canada, and a 100% tariff turns every gas station into a luxury store. US refineries in the Midwest are literally hardwired for Canadian heavy crude. They cannot simply switch to other sources overnight. This energy chokehold extends to the grid, where 85% of American electricity imports, mostly clean hydro, are suddenly doubled in price. In the auto industry, the fallout is even more chaotic as the integrated border becomes a billion-dollar barrier for every car brand. A single vehicle frame often crosses the Detroit-Windsor border 7 times. Under these rules, that's 7 layers of compounding 100% taxes. Analysts estimate this could add $12,000 to the price of a new truck, effectively pricing the American middle class out of the market. But while the US economy braces for a supply shock, Ottawa is playing a dangerous new hand to ensure its own survival. Prime Minister Mark Carney's recent strategic reset with Beijing isn't just a trade deal, it's a divorce settlement from the American orbit. By lowering taxes on Chinese EVs in exchange for farm exports, Canada is signaling it will no longer be Washington's captive customer. This pivot to Asia is the ultimate red flag for US national security, potentially allowing Chinese influence to nest on the northern border. Washington's response has been to threaten a total blockade, treating its closest ally like a hostile drop-off port for Chinese goods. We are now entering the retaliation loop, where Canada's counter-tariffs on US steel and tech will kill millions of American export jobs. Small businesses that rely on cross-border logistics are already seeing their credit lines frozen as banks price in a total trade collapse. This is no longer a standard trade dispute, it's the systematic dismantling of the most successful economic partnership in modern history. As the 2026 USMCA review looms, the question isn't how we fix the deal, it's whether there will be anything left to save. The shockwaves of a 100% tariff won't just hit the stock market, they will land directly on your kitchen table by the end of the month. This is no longer a potential crisis, it is a math problem where the average American household loses $1,500 in annual purchasing power. With 20% of US food imports coming from the north, seasonal pricing is about to become a permanent, expensive reality for every grocery run. Canada's retaliatory blockade strategy will likely target US technology and services, freezing the digital infrastructure we take for granted. Economists warn that if this standoff lasts 6 months, US GDP will shrink by 0.5%, killing over 500,000 jobs in the manufacturing belt. The Canadian dollar, or loonie, is projected to collapse toward 60 cents, making American exports to our biggest customer impossible to sell. To survive this, your first move is tactical. Secure essential Canadian-made goods like medications and specialized auto parts before inventories dry up. Shift your investment portfolio toward energy independent sectors, as domestic oil and gas will be the only winners in a closed border. Build a 3-month tariff buffer in cash. When supply chains snap, liquidity becomes the only tool for navigating sudden price spikes. Watch the 2026 USMCA review like a hawk. It is the final kill switch for North American trade as we know it. If the treaty is officially voided, we enter a Fortress America era where isolationism replaces the efficiency of the globalized world. The geopolitical price is even higher. A Canada-China trade axis creates a backdoor for rival influence directly on the 49th parallel. This isn't just about winning a trade war, it's about whether the US can afford to turn its closest neighbor into a strategic adversary. The next 90 days will determine if we are witnessing a temporary negotiation tactic or the permanent balkanization of the West. North America is breaking. The only question left is how much of your wealth will be caught in the cracks.